I want to talk about my wife for a second, and not necessarily so much my wife, but I want to talk about my relationship with my wife. And my wife has gone away for the weekend. She went away today for the weekend. Today's Friday, so I won't see her till Monday. And just follow me through this for a second. Knowing that she's gone for the weekend, I kind of sat, just me and my sons, I just kind of sat thinking about my relationship with my wife and how sometimes, as a married couple, you kind of have this like, oh my God, you're so annoying, and you get aggravated, and you get overstimulated, and you just, these little things bother you, each one of you about each other, right? And no matter what you do, these things exist, right? But at the same time, when you're in a relationship, like, and I'm saying like mine because I can only speak from mine, but when you're in a situation, in a relationship like mine, that you've been married for 22 years, a successful marriage for 22 years, that even though those things occur, you love each other tremendously. There is no being without them. You know what I'm saying? And I say that because, even when I think about my wife, even when I think about my past relationships, right? It's just, or past situations of, when I was young or whatever it is, it's very gray, right? It starts to become very gray because you invest yourself in this person. You invest yourself in this life that you have with this partner, right? And it just becomes your past is almost non-existent. You can't remember a time where they weren't there. And that's kind of where I'm at, right? So that brings me to what I want to talk about today. So she's gone away, and with all those annoyances and overstimulating things that occur on the day-to-day basis of being married, right? You realize that they're a huge part of you. Like, I miss my wife tremendously, and she's only been gone for a couple of hours, right? That connection that you have with each other is nuts, and one thing about marriage I will tell you, and I think it has a lot to do with just my nature, my character, how I am, and how I perceive people, right? I have this, and I'm not trying to toot my horn, but I just have this ability to just kind of see people for who and what they are. Like, I enjoy people for who and what they are, bad and good, right? So, I try to identify bad and good, like, oh shit, like the conversation I had last time, just having a conversation with someone, it's just like, oh shit, his forest is burning, right? And you try to help them and give advice if you can, but you identify, right? You identify each person. But having that trait and being married as long as my wife and I have been married, 22 years, right? There is nothing in life that will teach you so much about a person. Now, you got to be willing to pay attention, and you got to be willing to really, invest in this person, but follow me. So nothing in life is going to teach you more about people than being in a successful marriage. And I get to this point because there's nobody in life that changes in a marriage more than each one of you. You have all these stages that you go through within that marriage. You're different people at different times of this marriage. And every time that person changes, you have to adjust. You have to change. Because guess what? You don't stay the same either. And that person has to adjust. And that person has to learn how to compromise, and so on and so on and so on down the line. And the beauty in that is, again, you carry that like this, that could be a lot of the reason as to why I'm so like in tune with people, and just kind of like, I really enjoy people for who they are, because I've had the joy and the pleasure to A, have a successful marriage, and B, have the capacity to love, the joy, the care, to be able to understand this person, to be able to want to cope with this person, to be able to want to go down the paths with this person, even when they're struggling, even when I don't have the answer, but being there is your answer. There's nothing more complex in life than dealing with the person that you love every day, and knowing that year after year after year, neither one of you are the same person. You know how annoying I could probably be? And I like to consider myself a very cool, even-keeled guy. Like, I don't really I don't really like problems. I don't really like to cause problems. You know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure I'm annoying sometimes. And I'm pretty sure that that might be annoying sometimes, right? How come you never want to get mad? I'm pretty sure that shit fucking bothers people, right? But a successful marriage takes patience. It takes love. It takes commitment. It takes everything about you being a person to be something for another person. If that makes sense, and I don't even know that makes sense, and I don't even know that I could really articulate that. But in order for you to be a person for someone else, you have to be able to cope and move and adjust and understand and just kind of really roll with the punches. Just really kind of, this is the season of this, or this might be a change that's going to occur that you might not necessarily understand, but you got to try, And I honestly came to this thought because, again, my wife is away with my two daughters on a trip, and I miss my wife tremendously. And I sit and I'm thinking about all the changes that we went through and all the ups and downs that we've gone through, and we're still together for 22 years, 4 children, and there were times early in the marriage where we drove each other nuts, that we didn't see eye to eye. There were times in our marriage that, it kind of leveled out. There were times in our marriage where my wife was impossible to deal with. There was times in my marriage where I got really sick and my wife had to care for me, and I'm pretty sure that was impossible for her to have to deal with. And, you go through these things and you stick by each other and you see each other for all these stages, for all these things that you go through, and yet you still choose to spend the time. You still choose to really, like, this is the person that I want to be with. This is the person that I'm going to commit to. This is the person that I'm going to be that person for. And that takes you going through these changes, going through those stages, and not necessarily understanding every single one, because you won't. You trying to understand every single one is impossible, because, again, women are complex in general, and I'm not making this a woman thing, but my wife has gone through her stages of perimenopause, and that's a change by itself, and I don't understand it. As a man, right? As a man, we don't go through those things. We don't really understand those things. But because you have that relationship, because you have those things together, you have that commitment to each other, even though I may not necessarily understand all things about it, the only thing that I do understand is that I need to be her support. I need to be there for whatever it is that she needs from me, whether that is emotional support, physical support, audible support, just listening. I got to be there. I got to be that. That's her change. I'm pretty sure that I'll tell you something even funnier, right? I'm a man like any other. We don't moisturize, right? That's just something that men don't do. I mean, maybe some men do, right? But I wasn't one that did terribly often. My wife got me into moisturizing. I now love being moisturized. I moisturize every day. Could that have been a midlife crisis for me that I was going through? I want to make sure my skin is right. I want to make sure I smell good. I want to make sure I retain my youth as long as I can. I'm going to be 50, right? That could be a midlife crisis that I'm going through. And my wife is looking at me, rolling her eyes like, oh my God, the fuck is wrong with you? You're going to be 50, my guy, right? Again, these are all changes that you go through, that you cope with each other. You really have to, you don't necessarily have to understand every single one, but you still choose to stand by each other. You still choose each other. And there's nothing more in life that is going to teach you about people and or persons than a successful marriage. When I tell you ups, downs, anger, sadness, joy, love, all of it, right? There is nothing that's going to teach you more about people than a marriage. There is nothing more that's going to teach you about patience, about just being there and just being human than a successful marriage. Anyway, if there's anyone that has any comments that wants to add to it, please feel free. Let me know. Do what you do it well. Do it the best way you know how. Jay Cotto, I'm out. Peace.